Hey guys, it's your favorite reliability test guy here with another action-packed, fun-filled video on reliability test and validation topics. This current video is an introduction to Weibull Analysis. I hope you enjoy this video, and if you do, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and let's get started! In this video, we're going to discuss an introduction to Weibull Analysis. It's not Weibull Analysis, it's Weibull Analysis. So we are not talking about Nintendo games here. We are learning about reliability analysis techniques. We will discuss what Weibull is and how to use it. If you like this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. In this video, we will discuss definitions, Weibull distribution characteristics, and go over an example of a Weibull plot. Below is a high-level summary that captures the process from requirements to reporting and test results. We will cover part of the test and reporting step at the end of the process when we have data and test results and we are ready to make reliability predictions for test to failure or a life test that we included in our product test plan. Before we get into the textbook blah 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 explanation that you will see on dozens of other videos, we are going to use an analogy to help understand how Weibull analysis works. My purpose in these videos is to provide you with a practical approach to reliability test and validation concepts, not to throw a bunch of advanced mathematic explanations at you like a PhD student teaching an advanced probability and statistics course. With that being said, if you would like me to bore you to death with a more technical explanation, then let me know in the comments below and I can make it so. Suppose a nonprofit organization called the XYZ Health Foundation wants to prove out a hypothesis that the distance that people can run in a straight line will determine whether or not a person will have an early demise. XYZ Foundation asks 10 people to be subjects for this experiment, and they ask each person to run as far as they can before they run out of breath. The amount of time that it takes for this experiment does not matter. However, the subjects must maintain a pace that is greater than a casual jog and less than a full-out sprint. In the hypothesis, it is predicted that any subject that runs less than 1 mile will die earlier than the subjects that can run 1 mile or more before running out of breath. Let's go ahead and run this experiment. Runners, on your marks, get set, go! Almost done, I promise. Alright, so runner number 1 only ran a quarter mile. We had 2 runners that were able to run a half a mile. We had 1 runner that was able to run 0.9 miles. We had a runner that was able to make it 1 mile. We had 1 runner that was able to make 1.25 miles. We had a runner that was able to make 1.35 miles. We had a runner that was able to make 1.5 miles. And we had a runner that was able to make 1 3/4 miles. And last but not least, we had a runner that was able to make it to 1.9 miles. Now, before the precision Nazis pull out their rulers and tell me my scaling is off, this is just a practical example for understanding how Weibull analysis can be used. So get off your high horses and just listen to this video. Thank you. Let's go ahead and put our results in a tabular format. One of the metrics that we have decided to implement for this experiment is the mean miles to stop in. Now, I just made up this term, and I'm going to get it patented, so you better not use this metric without liking this video and subscribing to my channel. I'm just kidding, but seriously, like and subscribe my channel. Thank you. The equation for the MMTS is as follows. Let's go ahead and plug in our data from the table we compiled into the equation. Let's go ahead and clean up this mess. And let's go ahead and solve this equation. Okay, so we have found that our MMTS is 1.09 miles. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Our work is done here. We can use this data for the entire population, and now we can go grab some beers and call it a day. Wrong. This is only part of the story here, folks. The mean value we determined is only a single value and tells us nothing about our reliability and confidence for this value. That's where our good friend the Weibull distribution comes into play. Using a Weibull distribution, we can determine the reliability and confidence of our results. Here we can see the reliability and confidence for our particular example tells us our population based on the 10 subjects gives us an MMTS of 1.09 miles at a 50% reliability and 95% confidence level, which means that 50% of the population is predicted to be able to run at least 1.09 miles before running out of breath at a 95% confidence level. Considering XYZ Health Foundation's hypothesis will take decades to complete and prove out, depending on our test subjects' ages, they really should have brought in more test subjects. With 10 subjects, this experiment is a big waste of time, if you ask me. That's why you will see studies, lab trials, and other experiments test hundreds of subjects. I mean, seriously, let's say there's a new prescription drug that will make low IQ subjects become super intelligent. But they use 5 subjects, and 1 out of the 5 subjects even dies of complications or side effects. Would you think this study is reliable, and would you have confidence in using this prescription drug when this small snapshot of the population gives you a 20% chance of dying? And how does 4 people having success with the drug mean it will work for 4/5 of the entire Earth's population with so many different bodies and chemistries and genetic makeups? I think not. Or maybe those of you with a low IQ figure you have nothing to lose. Then go for it. But be sure to subscribe to my channel and like this video before you kick the bucket with experimental smart drugs. Okay, let's get back to that boring stuff. So what is Weibull? Weibull is a type of distribution that is used for a set of possible values in an infinite data range, or also called a continuous probability distribution. What is meant by an infinite data range is that we are determining the life or reliability of a product or system over a time scale, and time as we know it is infinite, unless this is the Twilight Zone, and then no rules or reason apply. Weibull distributions are useful for non-symmetrical data sets. So think back to your histograms and how symmetrical data fits so nicely in a good old PDF bell curve. Well, with the reliability test of failure data, you most likely have non-symmetrical data, and you will not be able to fit this data into a nice, pretty PDF bell curve. So don't try it, or a statistician or a senior reliability engineer will think you're an idiot. I don't think you're an idiot, however, because you are watching my video and you liked and subscribed to my channel, so you're a genius in my book. If you dislike this video like the 3 clowns that always dislike every one of my videos, probably some former coworkers who are straight up haters, then in that case you are an idiot. Now, I am assuming you have a fundamental understanding of probability and statistics while watching this video. So rather than turn this into an 8-hour lecture on Probability and Statistics 101, I am assuming you understand what terms like probability distribution mean. If not, there are plenty of probability and statistics videos for dummies out there. So catch up first before watching this video, so you know what's going on here. The Weibull distribution can have 3 parameters, which are the shape, scale, and location parameters. And these are used in a distribution with an obvious name called the 3-parameter Weibull distribution. Also, a Weibull distribution using only the shape and scale parameters is called a 2-parameter distribution. The 2-parameter distribution is the most frequently used Weibull distribution in reliability and life data analysis. However, the 3-parameter is used as well, especially when you have more than 20 data points or 20 samples. Let's go ahead and define the 3 most common parameters for a Weibull distribution. You have the shape parameter, which is often expressed as beta, and it expresses the slope characteristic of the Weibull distribution and provides the estimate of when the first failure will occur, which is why it is also known as the threshold parameter. The scale parameter expresses the point at which 63.2% of the population will fail in terms of time, or 63.2% unreliability. The scale parameter provides the characteristic life for the data set getting modeled. The location parameter expresses the period of time that goes on before the first failure occurs. On the right side of the slide is an example of a two-parameter Weibull distribution. Notice that there isn't a wait period prior to the shape parameter sloping upward, which indicates that the location parameter is not considered in this distribution. Only the shape and scale parameters are used. Weibull Analysis allows us to see where our test samples fall in the reliability bathtub curve that many of you have probably seen before. If you haven't, what rock have you been living under? If you're not a reliability engineer, you are forgiven and get a free hall pass. And I'm glad you are interested in learning about the field of reliability engineering. A steep downward slope, when you generate a slope for your Weibull plot, indicates a high infantile mortality failure rate or early failure rate for your product, which means your customers will have the product they bought from you die long before the end of the warranty period, which is both costly from a warranty claims and it also impacts your brand equity. A steep upward slope indicates that your products are beginning to fail during the wear-out period and after your warranty or operational life prediction point, which means you did a great job designing margin into your product and have a robust reliability test plan. So good for you there, reliability champ and design superstars. Let's define three types of Weibull distributions. You have the one-parameter Weibull distribution, which looks at only the scale parameter and is used for very small sample sizes typically. It is useful for product data with a history and an estimate of the shape parameter, and it is well understood. Estimates of the shape parameter must be well understood to use this distribution. So you better have a history on your product and its reliability performance if you're going to use a one-parameter Weibull distribution, because you should already know what your shape parameter is at that point. A two-parameter Weibull distribution is one of the most commonly used Weibull distributions, and it is used to model life data and make predictions for product operational life and warranty predictions when performing reliability predictions. The three-parameter Weibull distribution should only be used for sample sizes of or data sets greater than or equal to 20. It provides greater insight into our data as it tells us the failure-free period between time zero and the first failure. As you can see in the plot on the bottom right-hand corner of the slide, it determines where your distribution slides on the horizontal axis. You can think of the location parameter as the sliding parameter, and it's breaking out in that moonwalk dance move as it slides across the horizontal time axis. Ow! Ow! Okay, enough. So, I've bored you to death with this technical explanation, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bore you with some awesome two-parameter Weibull distribution plots instead. When the shape parameter is less than 1, it indicates infantile mortalities, as seen in the following graphs. Notice the steep initial slope, which is the first half of our bathtub curve, as you recall from the previous slide. If you tested a sufficient sample size to get this shape, And you will not make any additional design or process improvements and additional confirmatory reliability tests. Kiss your profit margins and your brand equity bye-bye, as your customers are not going to be pleased and will ask for a replacement at best or a refund, which happens very frequently, especially if your product fails before the end of the end refund date. When your shape parameter is equal to 1, it means random failures, independent of age or time. Or it is also the plateau portion of the reliability bathtub curve, as we saw earlier. If you see this trend in your Weibull distribution, you are getting there and have some fine-tuning to do with your design or process. Keep it up and iterate and test that design again. A shape parameter greater than 1 indicates wear-out failures. This is the upward slope on the reliability bathtub curve. You either got really lucky, or you have performed a lot of work with your design and have done a lot of early testing and learning to get to this point. So good for you. Your customers will love you, unless you didn't do your market research and created a product that no one wants, which I've seen before, but alas, that is a topic and story for another time. Likewise, look at the impact that the different scale values have in these graphs. The larger the scale parameter, the more stretched the distribution becomes, and the less pointy the peak appears to be. Okay, let's go ahead and do a real-world example. In this example, we are going to test 10 widgets to failure. We have completed our testing and have generated our Weibull plot according to the test results that we collected. The middle line indicates your reliability curve prediction based on the test results that you inputted into whatever data analysis tool that you used. The curve is against the unreliability expressed as a percentage in the vertical axis versus time in the horizontal axis. But keep in mind you can use other ranges for your data in the horizontal axis, such as number of cycles, for instance. So, in summary, the middle curve is your probability curve that you fitted to your data set to determine the reliability of your population based on the sample size that you tested to failure. Yes, I used a software tool to do all of my calculations and generate this pretty plot. Let's face it, we all had to go through the torture of doing this crap by hand in school. So why not use a software tool to do all the thinking and calculations for us now? Am I right? No, well, I didn't ask you, Mr. or Mrs. Slide Rule. So let us, the rest of us, work smarter, not harder, and use our favorite data analysis app to get our jobs done faster so we can get out of work and go drink beer and ponder when the design engineers are going to fix all the design reliability issues we warned them about. Getting back on track here, the top and bottom curves on the graph are our bounds for the confidence interval, which is 95% confidence interval for this example. Notice how the lower part of the top and bottom curves tend to flare out. This is the margin of error that we have allowed. In this case, it's a 25% margin of error. The MTTF was found to be 5,985.87 hours. Remember from our mean miles to stop an analogy that the mean value is a single value, and using this number alone as the metric for your product's population reliability performance is both dangerous and fallacious to your company. So don't just take a mean number from your reliability analysis and run with it. You need to determine the reliability and confidence that corresponds with the mean time to failure value that you have found, as it is a single value and not the whole picture for your product's reliability. Another useful plot and tool is the survival curve, which is the Weibull inverse survival function, and uses the same value for the shape parameter or beta. It helps you visualize the reliability value at different times in your reliability Weibull probability distribution. As you can see, the survival curve helps you see the reliability over time for the Weibull shape that you fitted to your test and to failure data. You can take any value you want, which could be a warranty hours target along these lines, to make a claim about your product. However, we will use the MTTF metric in this example,
So looking at our survival plot, our MTTF point tells us we have a reliability of approximately 55%, which means 55% of our widgets are expected to survive up to the MTTF time, or that 45% of our widgets will fail before the MTTF value is reached. To summarize, the widget will survive to 5,985 hours with a 55% reliability at a 95% confidence. This is bad. Go back and test some more samples and see if you can get your reliability percentage up. If that doesn't work, tell the design engineers to go fix their junk widget design and then test again. Let's talk about some pitfalls with using our Weibull results. We are assuming here that we have a single failure mode with this failure plot. If the 10 widgets failed for different reasons, you have a problem at this point that cannot be accurately predicted for the entire population. You need to root cause the failures and make any necessary changes to your design or manufacturing process. If you were anticipating a single failure mode to arise during the test and ended up with multiple failure modes for each widget tested, your design or production process is not under control. So go root cause the issues and then tell the engineers to fix their design issues or tell the quality and production guys to go fix their process issues before giving you any more widgets to test depending on the cause of each failure for the widgets. Analogy time again, going back to our runners in the analogy we use for explaining the importance of Weibull analysis. Let's say you are a serial killer engineer or scientist. You have captured 10 poor souls who will need to run for their lives from rabid dogs. You want to see how far the subjects will run before getting tired and getting eaten by the rabid dogs. You tell the people to run, and then let the rabid dogs have at it. One guy immediately has a heart attack, and the typical screaming lady you see in horror films falls and breaks a leg. Another guy trips and breaks his neck, and so on and so forth for different ways these poor victims might stop running for reasons other than running out of breath and stopping or slowing down. The data you collected from these victims is worthless if the metric you are trying to determine is the mean miles to stopping, as they all had different failure modes. Picture me doing the Dr. Evil quotation with my fingers right now, making the data useless for the metric you are trying to determine. Next time, you will need to find victims who aren't going to screw it up. Dr. Evil here again, before running out of breath and getting tired. Avoid using Weibull analysis and making determinations on your product's reliability with less than 5 samples or data sets. You could have test results from test samples that are outliers of what your actual product population will demonstrate. So you could end up over-designing with lower outlier data results or under-designing with upper outlier data results and look like a real idiot with your boss, the executive team, and your colleagues will be laughing about you over beers one night. So be careful with the data and know what sample size you need for an accurate reliability prediction. The middle bullet point here, which I completely skipped, indicates that testing additional sets of 10 samples may change the MTTF value. So if you went ahead and performed 10 additional tests on 10 additional samples, it may change your MTTF value. And it may also change your reliability and confidence value as well. So keep that in mind when you're determining your sample size for your reliability test to failure. Okay, let's go ahead and go over some key takeaways from this video. Weibull Analysis is a highly flexible statistical tool that can be used for all kinds of data analysis for both symmetrical and non-symmetrical data sets, unlike the standard PDF bell curve. Weibull is heavily used in reliability engineering, but has many other applications in production, user data analysis, medical, industrial, and other types of data analysis. The shape parameter can yield drastic differences in your product's reliability performance. The steeper the curve, the better your product reliability is predicted to be. MTTF, MTBF, MTTR, and other similar terms should not be used as the only metric for reliability analysis, as it only expresses a single value and doesn't provide enough detail. You need to at least throw a reliability percentage against your mean value and perhaps add a confidence value in there for good measure. Pun intended. The more samples or data points, the better accuracy you have in your reliability prediction for your product. So tell your executive team to stop being stingy, or they will be paying even more in warranty costs and loss of brand equity. This video is complemented by watching my video on sample size determination. So check out that video as well. Using what you have learned in this video and the lessons learned in my sample size determination video will have you on the track to becoming a reliability rock star.
Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to reach out to me at one of the links below. Thanks for watching and have a great day.